Hey there, puzzlers! My name is Fleb, and today I'm going to start on another journey. Much like with twisty puzzles, where we're working our way towards a very complex and difficult puzzle, what I'd like to do is take a journey through the world of logic puzzles, and eventually end with some of the most difficult logic puzzles that are available in speed solving. And to do that, what I want to do is solve through the US Puzzle Championship, the first puzzle that is shown here. Usually I compete in the US Puzzle Championship, but this year, with the birth of my daughter, I didn't have the chance to do so. People seem to really enjoy learning about the Star Battle puzzle in the last video I posted, so I thought I would continue in that vein, talking about different solution methods for different logic puzzles. This week, I want to start out with the first puzzle in the US Puzzle Championship, which is battleships. The puzzle consists of this grid, which has some ship pieces filled in, and some places where ships can't go. The idea is to fill in this whole fleet into the grid subject to a few conditions. First, the different ships can't touch each other, not even diagonally. So for example, if you want to put a ship here, like this, and a ship here like this, that would not be possible. But also, putting a ship diagonally like this would not be possible. These nubs here in the grid refer to the ends of ships that are already placed. So you know, for instance, that these are going to extend down one square already. You don't know whether this is an end or another piece of the ship, but you do know that these are going to extend down a little bit. These numbers at the side and at the bottom refer to how many ship pieces are in each column and row. So for example, in this row, we can only have 3 ship pieces. So if we could have a ship of length 2 like this, in addition to that ship piece, or we could have 2 ships going down through the squares, or we could have things like the ships of size 1 in that row. Without further ado, let's get started. The first thing to do when starting to solve any battleships puzzle is to fill in the information that you already know. So for example, here we have 3 columns that have zeros in them. So we can immediately say that those 3 columns don't have any pieces at all. I'm using a minus sign to denote where a ship piece can't go. But the columns are the only places where you can do this. For instance, around the different ship pieces that are already in the grid, like this and this and this, you know that there can't be a ship there, 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 or even there. You can start to fill in the fact that you know that there's going to be another piece that extends down here, because it's not a singular ship piece. But you don't know whether it's going to continue on, or whether that's just an end. And that also gives you a diagonal. You can't have a piece of the ship here. From here, cross these off. Now if you take a look at this column, we have 2 pieces in it. So we know this is actually a ship of size 2. And there's nothing else in that column. So we can go down here and we can cross out one of those ships. Both this row and this row have the number of pieces total that they have. This one has 2, this one has 1. And that also tells us this is also a ship of size 2. This row is also filled. The next thing in battleships puzzles is usually you're looking to fill in these big ships. There's only a few places where they'll be able to fit on the grid. For instance, if we look at this size 4 ship, it actually can only go in either this column or that one. No other column is of size 4 or greater, so it can't fit anywhere else. Let's take a look at this column. We know we have to fit 4 pieces here. If this was a ship of size 2, then we would have to put another ship of size 2 in. And that would mean that we have 4 ships of size 2. That's too many. So we know this is not going to end here, but at least extend one further. Now this could be a ship of size 3 and a ship of size 1, or it could be a ship of size 4. We don't know yet, so we're going to wait on that. Over here, we can also fill in the ship of size 4 there. Since we don't know where the ship of size 4 is going to go, let's take a look at the 4s and the 3s. The 4 could go here, as well as a 3. A 4 could go here, as well as a 3. A 3 could not go here, because we already have 2 in there. A 3 can't go here because there's not 3 spaces in a row. That's the same logic for this row. There's not 3 spaces in a row. This one, it can't go either. And this one, it can. So with 3 ships, there's only 3 places they can go. What that means is that these 3 squares up here have to be a ship of size 3. If they weren't, there'd be no way to fit all of the large ships into the grid. That tells us quite a bit. For starters, it fills in this exactly. We know we have a ship of size 1 here, and a ship of size 1 here. Now if you look at this column, it's all filled in. If you look at this column, it's all filled in. If you look at this column on the left, we know it has to have a ship of size 3 or size 4 in it. Otherwise we can't fit all of the large ships. That must go in this region here, so we know that these 2 squares here are going to be a part of that ship, because either it's a 3 here, a 3 there, or 4 there. All of those ships have those 2 squares in common. Now there are very few places where ships of any size can go. Let's look at this last ship of size 2. Where can it go on the grid? Well, it can't go here, because we know that we're going to have a size 3 or size 4 ship there, so we're going to have at least 4 before we even get down to the bottom squares. Can't go here, can't go there, because it would make this column have 3 pieces. It could go here, but this is the only place where it can go in the columns. Now what about the rows? Can't go here, can't go there. It can't go here because there's not 2 spaces next to each other. And similarly, there's no place where it can go on the rows. There's only one square that 2 can go in, and it's right here. And with that row is complete. We know this is the 3. This is a 1. This row is complete. This column is complete. We know this is a 4. And now we're getting very close to the answer. We have one more ship that we have to place, because this row is complete, and this one is as well. We have one one-piece ship left to place. There's 1 square remaining, and look at that. It finishes our final clues. When solving battleship puzzles, the way I would recommend starting out is by filling in all the information that's given to you at the start, even if it takes a little bit of time to fill in, and then looking at where the big ships have to go. Usually that's the way they solve. There are a few that don't solve that way. There are a few that you take a look at where the big ships go and you can't make any deductions. And with that, you usually have to look at larger sets of ships. Maybe the 4s, 3s, and 2s, not just the 4s and 3s. But there aren't too many tricks to this type. That method of solving solves most of them. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. And as always, happy puzzling.